Welcome, everybody, to another episode of We Geek, the show where we talk about one particular facet of geek culture, whether it be Star Trek, whether it be whatever, and we talk about basically our passion for it, what drives us to continue to be fans of it, where we hope the series or the facet of geekdom might go. But today is going to be a little bit different because we're going to be taking not only a facet of the culture, but also another aspect of it. This is actually an idea that was brought up for Geek News, Reviews, and Opinions, the other podcast that I do. And unfortunately, we couldn't get that to work because it was going to be like a Valentine's Day idea, but we still wanted to do it, and there was still interest in us doing it. So today's episode is going to be about geeky couples. And so people might notice that certain panelists are missing from the Geek News, Reviews, and Opinions podcast, but that's mainly because we have a 4-person panel with 2 couples. So first of all, let me go ahead and introduce the panels. I am your host, Adam Mickelsen, aka Drac. I hope everybody's having an awesome week so far. And right next to me in the same office is my wife, Andrea.
Hi.
And we are going to, so here's couple number 1. And our second couple, first of all, I'm going to introduce Brinton Valli of Brinton Valli Gaming. How are you doing this evening, man?
I'm doing pretty good.
So at this point, it's a couple, not necessarily a married couple, but a couple nonetheless, because we have your fiance, Nathan, here.
Hello.
Hello. People might recognize him from the post-BlizzCon episode that we did of Geek News, Reviews, and Opinions. So how are we doing tonight, Nathan?
Pretty good. We're both getting over a cold, but so I may sound a little more nasally than usual, but other than that, we're good.
All right, good. I mean, it's not good that you had a cold, but I mean, you were far worse last week.
Yeah.
So yeah, today we actually have a unique set of questions for the panel because you guys asked the questions. And so I have a couple from the YouTube comments feed, and then also I do have some private messaged ones that got sent to me via Twitter. So we have quite a few questions. I don't know if we're going to get to all of them today because the podcast usually runs about an hour. But we're going to get into as much of it as we can. But first of all, just kind of, we usually do an introduction of like when you got into this facet of geekdom, but we're talking about geeky couples right now. So basically, instead of that, our question is going to be like when you guys met, when you guys got into geek stuff together, and I'm trying to think of like, do we want to do like where you're at today? Yeah, why not? So Brinton and Nathan, why don't you guys go ahead and go first? So when you guys met, and like how long have you guys known each other, and like how you guys got into each other's geekdom and where you're at right now?
I'll start off because mine's kind of creepy, so I hope everybody forgets it by the time we are done with the podcast.
Actually, you know what? I want to hear this from Nathan's end because I've heard it from Brinton's end.
So
Yeah, I was gonna say I think everybody's heard my side of how we met, so I think it'd be interesting to hear Nathan's side.
Exactly.
So basically, so we met on an online dating app, and it in his profile he had a link to his YouTube channel, and he was like, "Oh hey, go check me out on my YouTube channel." And so the first time I messaged him, he totally blew me off. And
wow.
And so
Brinton.
I still feel bad about it.
So I went ahead and was watching. I went ahead and started watching some of his YouTube videos. I was like, well, who is this guy? Why won't he talk to me? And so I started watching some of his Let's Plays. And I work in IT, so I'm sure anybody who works on IT, they know it's very feast or famine with the work. And it was famine time. So I had a lot of time to watch Brinton's videos.
Yes.
You might say, without knowing the context, that I was cyber stalking him with how many videos I ended up watching.
I love where this conversation is going. Go on.
Eventually I was like, oh, I really like him, and he's so cute and adorable, and I want to go play games with him, and so I finally mustered up the courage, and I was just like, okay, so we're going on a date, and we're going to go see this movie, and I'm taking you out to eat. And I didn't ask. I was just like, this is what we're doing Friday. Because I was like, when are you available? He's like, oh, I don't know, I'm pretty busy, and, real life, and stuff happens, and
Yeah,
so
tell me about it.
I just
trying to set up a Devil May Cry for him is horrible.
I just laid it down and was like, all right, we're going on a date. I'm taking you on a proper date. And the rest is history. And that was back in June of last year.
All right. And so you guys are, you're coming up on a year, and probably about the time you hit a year and a half, you guys are engaged. So at that point, then it's a whole other ball game for you guys.
That it is.
Yeah. By that, I mean, it's going to be, well, you guys are I'm probably giving more information than I should, but I mean, you guys technically do live together, despite busy schedules and all that. So you guys are kind of already working that stuff out. But that's actually gonna be awesome, because at that point we can actually get because I already know you have brought Brinton into some new geekdom, and I think Brinton has done that with you.
Oh yeah.
And people might wonder why I have so much information. I actually met Nathan last year at Anime Bonsai. And we all just kind of sat there because the Switch announcement had just barely happened. So we were all talking about the Switch. We were all talking about stuff going on in our videos. And I think at that point, that's when Nathan realized not only did he get Brinton, but he got the whole dang universe that follows Brinton. And the funniest part is like, ever since then, I mean, you're kind of doing it yourself as well, because you have a Twitch channel now. I'm trying to think, do you have a YouTube channel of your own?
No, I really usually only stream for friends and family that are interested in what I'm doing. A lot of times it's like if my brother or his girlfriend, or like if Brinton wants to watch me play Heroes of the Storm on one screen while he plays Final Fantasy, that kind of stuff.
Yes. And I actually enjoy some of the stuff you put up on Facebook too, when you're doing Heroes of the Storm or Overwatch or even like For Honor. Wow, Nathan actually made For Honor enjoyable for me. Because that's actually how it worked out. But yeah, there you go. That's Brinton and Nathan. And for us, Andrea, do you want to take it, or should I take it? I almost want to go with you, because people have already heard it from my end.
Of how we met?
Of how we met, yeah.
Well, that depends on your perspective versus mine. But
that's why I'm saying, like, we got Nathan's perspective on their relationship, so why don't you give your perspective on ours?
Well, how far back do we want to go?
As far back as you think. Or
well,
as far back as you would like.
All I remember is I know that when we were young, we were kids, and we were just typical average children. Your parents used to babysit us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we grew up, and we went to school together, became good friends. And then eventually, we started dating in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And then we end up getting married.
That's the biggest summary of it. Okay. Yeah, we basically known each other since we were 5 years old. So like she would be babysat by my parents, and then we did date in high school, but we took a break during 20s, and then eventually got married later on. Like we got back together, and then we got married.
We got married right after I got out of nursing school.
Yep. Because I was actually I was ready to wait, I think another 6 months, and you're just like, no, we must get married now.
Oh yeah, because I figure who knows what would happen after that.
Well, yeah, because you pulled me aside like the day of your graduation, so we were like, that was a whole day of festivities right there, and you kind of pulled me aside in between stuff. He's like, I want to talk about getting married, and I was like, really, now? I thought we were still going to wait. No. And I think we talked about it literally the next day.
Probably.
So, and we set up the date and all that stuff. And then things got tons more hectic. And now, well, we're happily married for 5 years. More than that, I think.
No, I think it was like we got married in 2010. So it's
so we're coming up on 7 years.
7 years.
So there you go. Now you guys can tell that I'm old. And all you guys can appreciate that. And actually, we have a little mini geek now too. So.
Yep, a little mini Drac.
One that likes to storm in on my Tale of Drakfu videos. Just poof! I'm in here. I'm going to enjoy this time. Everybody, hi.
And also likes to burst in when you're playing Resident Evil.
That too.
Oh, that's basically too good.
Well, yeah. Well, what she's talking about is when we would do Gaming with Geeks with Aldo, we actually came across we were coming across our first encounter with Lisa Trevor, for people who don't know who know who that is. and we were both really scared about it because we know who Lisa Trevor is, and we were freaking out. And all of a sudden, when she's about to turn the corner, that's when, boom, my daughter walks on in, just like, hey, I'm here. And we're just like, oh, it's Lisa Trevor. You're going to get us. So she literally, and I think Aldo even admitted, she's like, wait, I think I might have peed myself when that happened.
That's awesome.
So there you go. That's kind of a basic introduction of the... Well, because you guys know me and Brinton. We're YouTubers, so you guys have seen all of the other stuff that we do. But that's the introduction for our couples. And let's go ahead and get into the questions. Are we ready to put our lives in front of everybody? This is actually not going to be that bad, people.
Sure.
Well,
Why not?
I mean, I've already said some pretty questionable things while you played Devil May Cry, so I don't know what else I could say that could be even more embarrassing. So here goes nothing.
Well, and then me and Aldo wrote fanfic for Naruto. So, I mean, can it get any worse than that?
The life of putting your life on the internet.
Exactly. So it only seems appropriate to start with this one. And again, these questions were presented by you guys. So the majority of this episode is actually provided by you guys, and we thank you guys for continuing to contribute to our content, whether it be Brinton's Let's Plays, whether it be Geek News Reviews and Opinions, whether it be me and my buddy Alex, who I actually met Brinton through, and the Let's Plays that we do, all that fun stuff. So we appreciate you guys, and I love having you guys ask these questions. First one we got is, which fandoms do you both love? So like when you met, you both loved this particular fandom. And actually I'm going to start with Andrea. So like name off a fandom that we both love. And then I'll do another one too.
I would say for both of us, maybe... that's hard because you probably wouldn't like the same thing I would.
Well, no, these are particular fandoms that we both like. So one off the top of your head that you could think of.
We could probably say Zelda.
Yes, we could. I actually brought you into Zelda, which is an interesting thing. So for those who don't know, she was a Sega girl and I was a Nintendo boy.
Sega. Man, who was that? Do we have a fifth person in here?
Oh my Lanta.
So yeah, you actually just barely started Zelda like when we were dating, and she has to make her way through every single game. So thankfully she's in Phantom Hourglass right now. She's almost done. And then she can go and do Final Fantasy, right?
Actually, yeah. Actually, we could just say Pokemon.
Pokemon / Digimon kind of brought us.
Oh
together.
yeah, we probably were both fans of that.
Yep. And then I'm gonna go ahead and bounce to the other couple really quick before I give my answer. So Brinton, which fandoms do you both love?
There's so many.
This is the cool part. It's like we're geeks of so many other things that this list is big.
Well, this one should be easy. The first one should be easy.
Yeah,
you wear a reminder on your finger every day.
Oh, Pokemon. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So we have double Pokemon. But I think you guys go a little bit further because you guys have played Go, right?
Yeah, we did play Pokemon Go. We did the whole went to a park for a couple of hours, walked around the neighborhood with our dogs. I would be holding both of our phones as Nathan drove around. We were really, really into it. And then it got to the point where Nathan was like, I just want to play regular Pokemon. So we played X and Y together, Ruby and Sapphire together, Sun and Moon together.
See, that's the other thing too, is I think we're both backed up on gens because
I
haven't even played past Gen 4.
I'm actually still on Pokemon Pearl right now.
Yeah.
I need to finish it.
So there you go. We'll eventually get caught up because I want to actually try out Sun and Moon.
In fact, it's actually thanks to Nathan that gave me the change of heart on Sun and Moon. Because if you remember, out of the start of at the start of the year, I was like, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. By the end of 2016, I loved Pokemon Sun.
Well, I think it actually got to a point where like you were being made fun of, because you're like, I'm done. I'm not interested. 6 was my end. I'm good. And I think even Alex just kind of bounced back and went, "Oh, so you're gonna be like a Gen 6 purist?" Oh, like okay.
Yeah.
Well, according to Alex, I'm a Gen 1 purist. So, is it Gen 2?
For which one?
I think it was a Gen 2 purist is what he calls me.
What, for gold and silver?
Yeah. Because I played Gen 3 and I played a little bit of Gen 4, but it's like I have no opinions because I haven't finished Gen 4. He's like, "Oh, so you're just a Gen 2 purist." Like, you freaking hipster.
We just got busy with our games.
Exactly. Here. So, okay, so we got Pokemon on both sides here. For me, fandoms that we both love that I can mention, Power Rangers. Power Rangers is another one. Because I basically kind of rediscovered my love of Power Rangers through you, because you decided one day, I'm going to watch through every single season. And this was around the time when Netflix got the contract. So she's like, I'm going to watch through every single season. And we would literally go to bed and she would be watching like 2 hours worth of Power Rangers that night.
Is it not recently, but way before where I was watching it? Or, because I'm pretty sure it wasn't just we were starting season 1 over.
Well, we just barely started season 1 all over again.
Well, yeah, but
you had already made your way through a couple of seasons by that point.
Oh yeah, because I was like just binge watching like season after season.
Yeah, so like because of her, I had to endure horrible things like Operation Overdrive because I had never seen it, and she has to watch it. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Power Rangers. The other one that I would probably bring up is actually one that we took up when we got married, which was I was a fan of Inuyasha.
Oh yeah,
and brought her into it, and we actually just barely finished the final act like a year ago or so. So there you go. Nathan, what is a fandom that you both love that you appreciate?
I'm just gonna give you a bunch because I've been sitting here thinking about them. So, MMORPGs. We definitely got into those because that's something that we started after we got together. I always played them, but Brinton had never played them before, so I got him hooked on.
Yes, by the way,
WoW.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Zelda for sure. And even the same game, like we both hold like Wind Waker in high regard, and it means something special to both of us. Star Wars. Can't go wrong with Star Wars. We're both Star Wars fanatics. Pretty much anything Marvel. We love Marvel. We always go see all the Marvel movies day one. Movies, we love geeking out at movies. Just going to see like opening nights. Overwatch. That's kind of its own fandom now.
Yeah, exactly. It really has become its own thing now.
That's all I got. I mean, I think that's quite a few.
All right, so there you go. That's the first one. Now, the way that these questions are I'm actually going to reshape them because I know the person who asked them might be a little mad about this, but there's a reason I'm going to do it. The next question that I'm going to ask is, and again for everybody, which fandoms does one of you love and the other hate? And I'm actually going to request specifically that you're the one that loves it and your opposing person is the one that hates it. I'm not going to ask why people hate it, but that I want you to approach it from that angle. So you're the one that loves it, and then you know that you're I was going to say your opposite side. That's probably not the best way to put it, but your opposite side hates it. Can't understand why, but they hate it. And for me, that has to be let's see, a specific one that you, because you don't hate anything that you don't hate.
I give anything.
You actually get mad at me for hating, or criticizing. So a specific fandom that I love that you just either can't get into or haven't gotten into yet. I'm gonna say Final Fantasy, but it's not that you hate it. It's just because you haven't played them And so when we do things like Kingdom Hearts, you're not familiar with the characters, which I'm not going to say irks me, but it's like, I'm the one who knows all the Final Fantasy. This is so sad. Because that's the one that comes to my mind is like, I love it because I literally grew up with it, but you are just kind of getting into JRPGs.
Yeah,
now.
probably.
Like you never played them. You were more of a platformer person. So that's the one that I could think of. Let's go back to Nathan. So one fandom that you love, but Brinton just can't get behind you on it.
Oh, this is easy. MOBAs, like Heroes of the Storm.
It's so true.
I'm actually surprised by this because I think at one point Brinton had told me he was trying Heroes and he was excited about it.
Yeah.
But
It didn't work out.
Yeah. Brinton had a comment where he was like, Heroes, it's not you, it's me. This just isn't going to work.
I kind of want to know now, like what happened? Did you just get that one guy who harassed you or?
No, I just could, like, even after the tutorials and Nathan, like, guiding me and helping me and all that, I was just like, I don't understand this at all. I'm so lost.
All right. I can understand that. Okay, so we have MOBAs for Nathan. We have Final Fantasy for me. Andrea, what is a fandom that you love and that apparently I hate?
How about Majora's Mask?
Yeah.
Because you seem to hate that game, and I'm like, I don't see why. I think it's actually a really fun game for especially.
Hate is a strong word, though. I don't hate that game. But if you gave me a choice between another Zelda game and Majora's Mask, I'd play that other Zelda game.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm actually, like, I played it, and I was happy that I played it. I'm just not interested in playing it again. That kind of thing. I was actually going to say, like, why don't you bring up, like, every single ABC, freeform...
Yeah.
Yes.
You would definitely hate the Fosters.
Oh, yeah. Like, okay, so...
I like the Fosters.
Well, this needs a little bit of explanation. So, my...
I was going into Pretty Little Liars Deprived for almost a year. So I decided to go watch The Fosters and switched at birth, just to fill in the gap time.
Yes.
And every time I'm watching episode after episode, at the time, Adam would be just like, "Oh, you cannot be watching this again."
So okay. So in my defense here, what would happen is that people who know me know this, that I basically cut the cable. I am no longer watching TV. I don't have any indication to do so. There's really not any shows that keep me anchored, especially since I could go to Amazon or Netflix and watch them at my own pace. But the sole reason that we have a cable subscription is because if I actually let it go and you couldn't get your daily dose of freeform, you might kill me. You might just kill me. And so in that case, like, she watches stuff like Switched at Birth, The Fosters, Pretty Little Liars. And it's not that I hate them, but critic mode activates really quick when those shows come up. And so eventually they will do something that just annoys the crap out of me because it's like, you know what? In the real world, this wouldn't work. Or a perfect example here is that if anybody who's ever watched Pretty Little Liars knows this, is that, like, basically it's set in a town that just has controversy all over the place. And just to set things up for people, it's pretty much confirmed that everybody slept with each other at one point or another. And so, because we eventually always have a plot twist of, oh, he's the son of this woman and that man who are already married and shouldn't have gotten together, but they did, and he had to live a secret life. And it's like, wow.
Oh,
and I actually can't.
Actually,
at the end of the day, is like, everybody in that town is boning each other, and they should all just know this by now.
Oh yeah, and I'm never gonna get over when you were like, oh, they're gonna show the reveal of the antagonist of the series when the baby gets to be born on that day.
And they literally did.
And it really happened. Although I never missed my episode. But it happened. Yeah,
they literally, she got done with labor at about like 2 p.m. that day, and so she I think you were awake enough that you actually saw the reveal, but we were all joking, like, the reveal that she's been waiting so many years for, she might actually miss because of labor. And it didn't happen, but we were just like, that would be the most hilarious thing if Fate intervened and said, "You cannot know who this person is."
That's amazing.
So there you go. So freeform series. There you go. Brinton, what is one thing that you love that Nathan just can't get behind you on?
So Nathan may have to help me again if I'm like shooting way far out in the ballpark, but I want to say that there are like certain anime that I like that Nathan just doesn't stand completely behind. One that comes to mind is Bleach. And I say that with a question mark. Like, am I right in saying that, or?
I wanted to I like Bleach, but they went on like a 300 episode filler spree, and I just wanted to shoot myself.
Yeah, no, you know what? I'll agree with you on that one, Nathan. It's like, I can watch Bleach, I have to skip the filler. Have to.
Okay, so here's the thing about like Naruto and Bleach filler is that Naruto filler makes sense in the sense that it doesn't deviate. Like, they deviate from the story, but then it like gets melded in right back where they left off perfectly. Whereas with Bleach, they could be doing something entirely different, and then all of a sudden it's like, we're going to pretend this didn't happen, go on a filler spree, and then we're just going to jump right back into what was going on as if it was happening, JK. And it's like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, this is
Yeah, what
so
about this
choppy.
power that Ichigo unlocked? No, he doesn't have it anymore.
I'll give you that. It is pretty bad. But I liked Bleach. There were definitely parts that did annoy me, but I mean, well, I didn't really like the ending all that much, but it was a series that I enjoyed throughout, and it was just always interesting to see what was going to happen next, what weird.
Oh, and I've gone on the record saying that I'm with you there. I like Bleach, but my issue is that I will get into the filler arc probably about 10 episodes, 20 episodes in, and I'll be like, because around that time you could actually tell whether or not this is going to be one of those arcs. And at that point I bypass it back to the plot that I care about. Because sometimes I think there is at least one filler arc that I actually did end up liking, which was the one that they all all the Zanpakuto get human forms. I actually did kind of like that one, but I wasn't interested in that story at that time. I was more interested in the whole visored Arankar storyline. So I bypassed it, watched what I wanted, and then went back to that arc, and actually ended up liking it.
Cool. But yeah, that's what I would say. I mean, I may be shooting out in like super far field, but I was like racking my brain, and I was like, I feel like there's a lot of things that we like that we just don't even have to worry about what we like, stuff that we dislike, you know?
Yeah, it's not like, okay, I do know that there are relationships that this happens, but here's how you know it's a good relationship. Because like, I have a friend who's one, or his I think it's the wife that actually is a DC fan, and he's a Marvel fan. They don't like the other. And so, like, so basically what they've decided in their relationship is comic books don't get brought up. Because then at that point they have to talk about, oh, well, I don't like Thor as a character. I like this other DC character. And then you get into the fan rage kind of thing. Or like my usual family Christmas party where Star Trek and Star Wars could not get brought up.
Well, for the record, Marvel and Star Wars are better.
All right. Well, technically, as a kid, I was on the Star Wars side, so and I still kind of am.
Actually,
so at that point,
we do have something that we like really, really disagree on. It's just not fan related or like fandom related, and that would be mushrooms and shrimp.
Oh my gosh!
Other than that, we pretty much agree and like everything. Like I usually don't hate anything. Or I'll enjoy watching Brinton play something, or watching something together.
Sure.
But if there are mushrooms and shrimp involved, that's when you see the claws come out.
Okay.
Nathan, the thing is, we've like, I've given mushrooms a chance, and I know Nathan's given shrimp a chance, or else we wouldn't even have this argument. But there are literally times where we're, like, at the supermarket, and I'm just like, oh, babe, look at all this shrimp. We should purchase some. Just because I love getting under his skin.
But see, that's not bad. Like, you're intentionally doing it because you know that that's the reaction you'll get.
I know it's like my way of giving him a love tap, because I know that because I'm not being malicious with it, and
Yes,
I just no, I'm not. I just like seeing what his reactions are, and they're generally like always the same, but every once in a while he'll catch me off guard and come up with like a reasonable excuse as to why we're not getting shrimp, and then he'll like counteract it with mushrooms, and I'm like, yeah, no.
Well, I'm actually kind of glad you brought that up, because Nathan actually created a segue in a weird way for the next question that we have, which is this is going to be aimed kind of at me and Brinton, because me and Brinton are the YouTubers here. As Nathan just pointed out, he's got a 9-to-5 job. My wife's a nurse. And so the next question actually is, how do the other sides of that feel about the YouTube channel? Are you happy about it? Or like, are you happy about it? Do you get involved in the channel? Which I think is funny to ask, because obviously if you ask that question, you haven't seen everything on my channel yet. But yeah, so like, what is your perception? How do you feel about me and Brinton for what we do? Because I'm not saying for you it's not necessarily a career, it's your pastime. For me, it is kind of a career thing, and at least it's tied very closely to my career. And let's go ahead and start things off with Nathan. How do you feel about his YouTube channel? Like, do you want to get involved? Does he pull you in, or are you just wanting to be like out of it completely and just kind of be in your own little corner?
Sorry about that. I had to clear my throat first. Actually, it's as far as how I feel about it, that was a big reason why I fell in love with him to begin with. I thought I have mad respect for somebody who can put themselves out there, and I admire it quite a bit. And just say, hey, this is me. This is my personality. I want to entertain you, and I really, that was the first beginning of my crush. As far as getting involved, I would say I enjoy being kind of like the guest more than like the partner, and I kind of like doing the behind the scenes things. Like, we'll collaborate on like his Mario splash screen that he did. Like, he came up with some ideas, and I was like, try moving this here and this here, and we kind of work on stuff like that together. And I'm also kind of his IT, but to give him full credit, like it is all his ideas. I just suggest little tweaks and things like that. But mainly, like, I'm kind of like his IT support. Like, I make sure his gear now is awesome and running well, and make sure everything is working correctly, so he can just come home from work or school, plop down, push a button, and get working without having to worry about anything. So that's how I like to contribute to it.
Okay. Andrea, so what is your viewpoint on my channel?
Well, I think you and, my brother are making a great profession out of it, just basically, if this is something you love to do, then this is something you want to do,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I think you just got real good talent for it.
And yeah, and your involvement, again, it's one of those things where I think the question that got asked, you obviously didn't see every single Let's Play we have on the channel. Cough, cough, Kingdom Hearts, cough, cough, Last of Us, cough, cough, Tomb Raider, cough, cough, Mickey's Castle Evolution. Yeah, because you actually do Let's Plays on the channel with me every Tuesday. Yeah.
I usually love to join in because, I work as a nurse for a living, and, well, after working 12 hours with patients who are just want to take up a lot of your time, I mean, I love my job, but sometimes I just love to do something other than,
Well, it's actually proven to be a little bit more of a stress release for you because, well, unfortunately, you're a nurse. So, I mean, the IT profession does have its share of stress, but you actually have like a high-end stressy. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. High-end stress job. And this is actually a little bit of a release for you. Is like we can go and record stuff, and it's the funniest part is you'll probably get mad for me telling this, but you kind of get mad, a little mad when we don't have something to record that week.
Oh yeah, because I'm looking forward to it. Because if
so like if we're ahead on stuff, I'm like, no, it's okay. We can take the week off. She's like,
That's actually really, really adorable. Like I actually think that's the cutest thing ever.
And so at that point, like the best way I know how to handle is like I delegate responsibility to her, So like, for example, oh, well, I'm sorry, we're not recording Kingdom Hearts this week. Do you want to go help out with the grinding? Sure. And she'll just jump up and do it. While I go off and do world quests and WoW or whatever. She's been very nice in that regard.
No, I just want to get my mind off of all the things that what happened during the day. I'm just like, okay.
There you go. So I'm actually going to add on to this question really quick, and that is just, so now we've heard Nathan and Andrea's positions on this, but I think it's also a quality thing to hear from the YouTuber's perspective. So, Brinton, for you and me, it's just like, how do you feel either Nathan contributes to the channel or like how he supports you or doesn't support you, all that stuff. And how do you feel about that? So let's go ahead and start with you, Brinton.
Yeah. So like Nathan said, and like even what I've said on occasion, my YouTube channel is the thing that brought us together. It is what got us talking and just getting to know each other. And the fact that like all of Nathan's behind the scene stuff has been a tremendous help. Like when I was able to finally come back to YouTube after the end of fall 2016 semester, just the fact that I was able to go from I had good quality videos, but we were able to amp up that quality by a lot. And that was all thanks to Nathan. Another thing that's super, super helpful to me is that before I didn't I had you, Adam, and I would occasionally talk to Aldo and everybody else about some ideas I had, but it's really nice when I have something on the mind, and especially when I'm editing or working on new thumbnails, or preparing new projects, just to bounce ideas off to Nathan and let him know, hey, this is kind of what I'm thinking, and I just word vomit, and he's just sitting there and he listens to all of it and he gives me suggestions. He even gives me new ideas that I didn't even think of, especially when I plan to do Final Fantasy 14 for YouTube. I'll probably even be incorporating a lot of Nathan's feedback on that because he knows the game better than I do, and I want to be sure that I show it off in the light that it definitely deserves. And I won't be able to do that without him, especially since I don't want to level up another bard to max level. I want to try something else different, so that will give me an opportunity to be oh, hey babe, what do you think is another good class that I could level up from 1 to max level, and then I can learn it, and then if he watches any of those videos, he can be oh, hey, maybe you want to do this instead of this, and they could help you with your rotation and with your attacks or your heals or your tanking, depending on what I do. I value a lot of Nathan's input, whether it be through my YouTube, or just through our personal gaming, or even just me as a person. I appreciate it so much, and because I know that he loves me, and I know that he wants to see me succeed, and he knows that I'm talented, and he just constantly pushes me to be my best and to bring it out even more.
Very nice. So for me, it's like I've said it numerous times on my channel that literally I would not be doing what I do if not for Andrea. And the sole reason I say that is because I got Brinton kind of knows this. I'm a little OCD when it comes to stuff. I'm a perfectionist. If I'm not doing things properly, then I literally I don't want to do them until they're perfected and I know what I'm doing. But eventually what happened is that my Andrea and my dad actually pulled me aside and said, well, if you don't get started, then if you don't take that first step, then it doesn't matter how perfected your product is. You haven't taken the first step. And so at that point, I didn't get forced to take my first step. I got shoved off the cliff is the way that I actually perceive it. Is they basically said, nope, get started. I think you were the one that was strongly encouraging actually me and Alex to get together and do Dragon Shadow, which is how things started. And then eventually I branched off into my own channel. So that's where she's at. I actually see her as like one of the biggest supports of the channel. Which strangely enough, you should have a YouTube channel just so you could subscribe to my content. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, I do, but that was years ago, I'm sure.
Oh, well, we need to dig that out then, because I want
I don't know where it is. I don't even remember
I have a
it.
one-track mind. Subscribe. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my video. No, I'm kidding. So at that point, like, she gets all the credit, because I wouldn't have even taken that first step.
Where would you be now if you haven't?
I'd probably be sitting somewhere still second guessing everything that I was trying to get going.
Oh.
So, because that's usually what happens there is like I sit there and question, which again, Brinton knows. I am very meticulous. I'm very like I'm my worst critic when it comes to content. I'd probably still be
in the
criticizing myself on that regard.
You'd probably be still at the beginning stage before even it existed.
Would I even have a YouTube channel? Probably not. Probably not at that point, because I would be worried about perfecting the videos before I got them out.
Yeah. You'd probably be wondering if people would like it.
Well, I worry about that every single time. Thanks for bringing that up. I'm going to put out this latest Tale of Drakvu. Are the Tale of Drakvu fans going to like it? I don't know. And I hate to say it, guys, these are actually things that do pop up in my head quite a bit. I am my own worst enemy and worst critic, so I have no problem admitting that. So the next question that we actually have is this is a weird one, but I when it got suggested, I figured that it was something that we needed to bring up. Is I know a lot of people have this issue because when say Aaron of the Game Grumps brings Susie on, or Susie brings Aaron onto his channel, it's always, the fluff that you get to see per se, but it's not necessarily the gritty portion of that. And so we actually did get a question basically saying like, is it just like the geekdom that you guys love and appreciate each other for, or can you guys come together for like real life stuff? Can you guys come together for like real life situations that are happening? Which I think I'm going to open up to the panel here as a discussion, but it's basically like, if you can't actually do real life and all you can do is the geekdom stuff, I don't see how the relationship works. Because unless you guys can come together on everything, I don't think the relationship has much to stand on, if that makes any sense. But I'll open it up to you guys unless you guys have a different point of view. So like the example that got brought up was like, you guys can agree on Star Wars, but do you guys like, what about politics? Does politics get brought up in your household and all that? And yeah, they do. We deal with them as we go along. It's just something that you deal with on a daily basis.
I think a big part of it, I'll just jump in. I think a big part of it is even if you don't agree, you just have to be able to respect the other person's opinion to be as valuable as yours. I mean, Brinton and I don't disagree on a lot of things except shrimp and mushrooms.
Oh my
I was gonna
gosh!
say, shrimp and mushrooms, man.
For the most part, I would say we get along really well. It's kind of weird, actually. Almost surreal at times. I would say probably the biggest thing we disagree on, or disagreed on to begin with, were some of the hot button issues, like religion and abortion specifically. And we just both sat and talked about those things at length, and neither one of us really got mad at each other. Neither one of us were like, you're wrong, you're dumb. I don't know. It's never come down to that. And we've both opened up each other's views and opinions quite a bit on so many things. And I think that's just what's important.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. I mean, like, just because you're in a relationship doesn't mean that you're not human, that you aren't continuing to learn, grow, adapt, all that. And the way that affects things is that your relationship also grows and also adapts to that. I mean, like, we bring stuff up in our relationship, but when it needs to be brought up, kind of thing. So, like, that's when we discuss it. It's not like we haven't had the conversation before, but like when we need to have that serious one, we bring it up then at that point. Go ahead, Brinton.
Yeah, I was gonna if I could jump in really quick as well. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this without getting like too chatty about it. But Nathan and I both have come from previous relationships that were more or less shit. I kind of talked about a little bit about mine in my 2016 end of year like review vlog I did, just as like a channel update before I started recording again. And I didn't go into huge detail about what had happened to me, but I had mentioned that my previous relationship before I had met Nathan had gotten sexually abusive. And it was really, really rough for me. And I kind of put it in the back of my head and tried to pretend that it had not existed, to the point where it was starting to eat me alive. And it was one of the first things that I had, like, literally I told Nathan everything that had happened to me on our first date. Why I did, I really still have no clue to this day. But it was it's one of those things that I bring up to him every once in a while, and Nathan brings up some of his hardships to me every once in a while. And it's just those two very crappy situations that we've had to deal with that helps us also come together, because I know that it's something that he has loved me for, and I know it's something that I have loved him for, because I want him to be happy and he wants me to be happy. And so every day I'm just so, like, I'm just grateful for him, because I know that if I'm really struggling, like if I'm struggling mentally or emotionally over it, I can go to him and he'll understand. And he doesn't even have to say anything. He just holds me and I can cry. And it's perfect. And once I get my cry out, then I'm done. And he knows that he can come to me and do the exact same thing.
Yeah, that's I would actually say that's basically what Brinton has described as what defines a relationship. When you have that kind of a relationship, that's the one you want. Because in a lot of cases, I mean, we can all have good moments together, but I would actually dare say, and this is probably a little more morbid for me to say it, but it's really during the tough times when you see just how strong the relationship is. I have no problem admitting this. Like, I mean, you and me have known each other for a long time, but I didn't get a full realization on how strong our relationship was until my dad passed away. And then at that point, just how hard things were in my life for me at that point. And knowing that she was there for me, like, in whatever way that I needed it. If that meant that I needed to swallow myself in my work, or if that meant that I needed to go jog for an hour or something like that, then that's how you know that the relationship is strong. It's like she would do whatever she could to accommodate, even if that meant like I just needed a hug that one time, kind of thing. So that's what Brinton and me have just described to me as like what defines a relationship. If you're asking because you're worried about like you don't have that, that's where I would point you to, is if you unconditionally love your other to the point like where you would do anything for them during good or ill, then that's the relationship you want to aim for. I'm not saying you go to a relationship where you look for every single hard time that you could possibly look into. No, you need to have those good times. But when those hard times come along, if you can handle them, that's how you know it's a good one.
Absolutely.
Yep. So we've gotten a little heavy here, and we're actually we're not hurting too much on time. But this is another thing that I thought might be a great way to refresh things when this question got asked, and that is we got a lot of this actually. And it actually, so the original idea for this was that we were going to do a couples episode of Geek News, and then Aldo, Romney, and Alex were going to go branch off into a singles episode where they would answer their own questions. I'm still encouraging them to do it.
They totally don't want to do it, though.
They don't. Well, Aldo does, but I think Romney and Alex are the ones that are holding it back.
Yeah.
Aldo's like, I don't care. I'm single. I'll go with it. So at that point, I want to see them like get questions and actually have to answer them. But this one I thought had to be asked as soon as we knew we were going to have relationship kind of things. So I think we can all agree that in every relationship, every person has their quirks, has their mannerisms that either are the cutest thing possible or annoy you endlessly. And maybe you don't even know why they annoy you. And so, first of all, this is not like the relationship game where we're trying to find fault with each other. But those things, because I want people to take that before they hit the comments and go, oh my gosh, he hates him for that. No, that's not what I'm saying here.
Well, people are wondering what quirks we have.
So yeah, they were asking that particular question. So here's the question. What is a particular quirk that you love from your significant other? And which one is one that annoys you, but you're still like, I still love them kind of thing. So it's not like they snore and I'll never get over it kind of thing. This is going to be like, we're not airing dirty laundry here, people. But I'll go ahead and start. And that is, so specific mannerisms that I love from Andrea are, I love her laugh. I really do. Like when she gets in, when something is truly humorous to her, it is like felt throughout her body. And so it's like, I don't know how to explain it other than she's like a Studio Ghibli main character, and the hair starts to frizz up and and it starts shaking up from her feet all the way to her head. And that's how you know that you've nailed that particular joke, is that happens is like, all right, cool. I've done good this day. A particular mannerism that I might find annoying is, and I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but this is more of a me problem than you.
Okay.
Is that at the end of the day, like for some reason she gets her second wind at that point. Like it's in her D&D strat sheet that she just gets her second wind at 10 p.m. And I used to be the night owl. Like I'd be the one that would go to bed at like 3 or 4 in the morning. And the funniest thing is like the day that ended was the day we had Aria. Because I literally was going to bed at 3 a.m. and you're like, I'm having contractions. Oh, well, that's not good. And I didn't get any sleep that day until the next night.
Oh, you mean when I'm probably up past you and you went to sleep? Well, that is so weird because that was probably before I went to night shifts for a while, and then I was like,
so at that point, I'm getting to a point where I'm getting like tired around 10 p.m. and I'm wanting to go to bed at like 11:30. And all of a sudden, that's when the second wind kicks in for you. It's like, let's go watch 6 episodes of Power Rangers. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. And I'm like, I want to watch them with her, but I'm tired.
Oh,
that's so unusual. You know what? Ever since Arya was born, it has helped him go to sleep a lot more earlier. Because before then, he used to go to bed at 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yep.
Because he had to rely on like Ambien sometimes to help him sleep. But with Arya, That helped tremendously.
Yeah. Strangely enough, how your life gets even more stressed when you have a kid. But man, it's the greatest thing to put you to sleep, man. She'll just run you out. You're good. So there you go. There's my likes and my dislikes. Or not my likes and my dislikes, but my quirks here. Let's bounce over to the other YouTuber here, Brinton. The quirks you love and the quirks that you annoy, but it's just so lovable to be annoyed by them.
I'm actually excited to hear his answer.
Like I said, guys, this isn't the relationship thing. We're not airing dirty laundry.
Oh my gosh, I know.
I'm more saying that for the comments.
I think you're gonna enjoy the. I'll just answer the question. Okay, so what a quirk that I love about Nathan is we could be like sitting and watching a TV show or a movie, or I'm playing a video game and he's watching me, and I've caught him doing this a few times, but I'm pretty sure there are also a couple of times where I think he thinks I haven't caught him, but I love when he's like he just like looks over at me whenever we're just like doing something, and then I'll just like catch him, and then you'll like turn away and like blush a little bit, and then I'll like turn away and I'll have a like huge smile on my face. It just like melts my heart so much because I can just see how happy he is, and that's what makes me happy. And it's like, again, it's just super fun to like catch him in the act, but then there's also times where I know he's doing it and he's trying to be like sneaky about it, which is what I love. And so I just like pretend like I don't see him doing it, even though I know he's doing it.
All right. I'll accept this.
Oh man, and then oh man, Nathan might hate me a little bit for this one. Not hate, but he'll be like, "No, don't say that." But I'm gonna say it anyway. So right before we go to bed is usually when he decides to poo, and
Oh my god.
This is how you know it's a relationship, because poop can get brought up just casually.
And so I'll be like he'll be sitting on the toilet and I'll be brushing my teeth, and then he'll like look at me, and then I'll look at him, and then he'll be like, "Can you not be in here when I'm pooing?" And I'm like, "I'm brushing my teeth."
It's so true.
I'm like standing there like halfway through brushing my teeth, and I'm just like, do you want me to like go rinse my mouth out on the balcony? Like,
I'm not sure if the neighbors would appreciate that, but
I just like, I mean, Nathan, I love you, but honestly, there are just some days where I'm just like, poo. It's not that big of a deal.
I'm a shy pooper, okay?
I'm just like,
Sorry.
I'm like
Your
brushing
brother
my
would
teeth.
love to watch.
yes. Actually, the thing that came to my mind is, if anybody's seen the Scrubs episode where we find out that I can't remember his name, the main character, but he apparently can't pee when people are standing right behind him. And so Dr. Cox decides to lord this over him the entire episode. And every time that he goes to try and pee, Dr. Cox is right behind him.
Oh my
so he can't do it. And eventually Dr. Cox's wife finds out about it. And it's a hilarious thing, but it's one of those things that I kind of understand too from a relationship.
Like, I would be
perspective.
doomed in prison. Like, if I was a bad guy, I would just my intestines would explode because I couldn't go to the bathroom.
Oh, you would literally be wrecked. Like, figuratively and physically wrecked.
And I find it funny that this particularly got brought up because it reminded me of my older brother. So I'm glad that Nathan brought this up because, yes, I know this very well. My brother's a programmer, and so I know you could tell exactly when an IT guy has a lot of downtime, like his program is being compiled or something like that, because my older brother my brother has a fascination with fart jokes and poop and all that stuff. So usually what I know when they're going into downtime, when I get this string of emails of YouTube videos that he found absolutely hilarious because of this fart joke.
Oh my gosh.
Kind of thing. And so the reason I bring this up is because it's okay, Nathan, you're not alone. His wife, who just complete opposite, never wanted to talk about any of that stuff, never found it funny. She's usually the person that like will shrug when it gets to potty humor. And she had to get used to him. Now they're happily married for I think they just barely celebrated their 15th wedding anniversary. But she eventually adapted, so things do work out in the end. It's all I'm saying here, people. It works out in the end because this woman has the patience of a saint for having to deal with my brother, who every time he hears he has to laugh. He's like, "This is great. I love it."
Oh my gosh.
There you go. So that was Brinton. Let's go ahead and go to Andrea. What is a quirk that you love and one that annoys you, but you still just love me?
Well, for one that I love is how you can be really OCD about a lot of things, and you always make things so much more complex than they really should, and I just can't help but laugh. And like, it is so simple, but you take
There's
to
a procedure to these things.
You take a different approach to it. It's like, were all those just necessary just to get to the same thing when it could have been done twice as fast?
And my answer to you is always the usual, yes. Yes,
Yeah.
it was. I had to go through those 5 other steps. It's the way it works for me.
It just makes me laugh about it.
Yes.
And probably something that would annoy me is that you could be very messy, and I have to question, how is it that you could do that? I could expect that from Arya, but from you?
Hey, to his credit, I did read an article today that said the most intelligent people are the messiest and the most foul-mouthed.
Oh,
Wow, that says a lot about Alex, doesn't it?
I mean,
Oh my gosh.
when I was living with my parents and my brother, and I just couldn't stand when my brother could be messy, and then I'm like, now I can see Adam doing that. I'm like, oh, maybe my daughter will grow up and be clean and neat like me.
See, and what the irony of that is that before we got married, I was like Felix Unger. If anybody knows The Odd Couple, I was like the neat freak. So whenever my dad would make a mess of things, because my dad dealt with a lot of health problems, so a lot of those times he just wasn't feeling good to clean the dishes that particular day. So I'd be the neat freak. I'd get mad at him. I'd be like, could you just stand up for 5 minutes and wash your dishes? I mean, seriously. And now I'm like a slob.
Well, it's
I
kind
don't know what happened there, people. I really don't.
Well, it's kind of like those times where I'm like, you say you'll get around to it, but it's like, I'll expect that done in the next month or two.
I get to it. I get to it in my own time.
Oh yeah, when you and Alex were talking about that time when you were gonna clean your office before you were doing the live stream or something.
Yeah,
and Alex was like, "Oh, so it's gonna basically happen like never."
So never, yeah. What she's talking about is I've gotten requests for people to see my recording setup, and Brinton kind of knows this because he's already walked into my office. Nathan not so much, but it probably wouldn't surprise Nathan. I'm a messy individual, and so I have no problem admitting that there are piles in my office, piles of paper and things like that, and they get gone through once every 6 months. And so Brinton's actually had to deal with this, but somebody actually made the suggestion of, we want to see your recording setup. We want to see like how do you record Gaming with the Geeks and Drac and Shadow and all that stuff. We want to see how hot your office gets. I can't show you that. That would be obscene. It would literally be me handing you a wet t-shirt. That's how that would work. But I keep on like him and me debated it, and I just like, I don't feel comfortable about doing that until I clean the office. And I'm talking like spick and span, like ding, ding in a cartoon. That's how clean it should be. And so Alex is like, yeah, so never. It's never happening. It's like, no, it's not never happening. It's like, but when do you get around to it? Okay, yeah. Yeah, probably not.
What a savage response from Alex.
I
We spend
would,
way too much time together. It doesn't even matter anymore.
well, I take the time and actually do a really good thorough job cleaning the house, and then by the next day it's like, why did I even waste all my time and energy doing this? I'll get back to it maybe the next week, because I figure if I do it by the next day, it'll be just like how I saw it today, the next day or
I
whatever.
love you.
Oh
Thank
my
you.
gosh. Okay, let's get to Nathan because I'm getting
Nathan,
scared.
because
Yeah.
we're actually a little over time now. So Nathan, what is the one quirk that you love and the one that annoys you, but you have to love it?
Oh gosh.
Okay, so the one that I love is it has to be how unintentionally animated Brinton is when he's playing games. Like when the saber-toothed tiger attacks you in Far Cry Primal or something, and just the way he freaks out, it's hilarious. I love it. It's hilarious and adorable. Or, there's times where, like the other night, we were playing Minecraft, and I have like this herd of wolves, like this pack of wolves rather, that follow me around as a pet, and he smacked me, and all the wolves turned around and just killed him and ate him, and just like his meh expressions, they're the best. I love them.
Yeah, and then there was another time where he hit me, so I ran, and so then they start attacking me, so I'm screaming, and I woke up his brother in the process.
Yeah.
And so I run over into the dock that we built, and I hopped into a boat, and then I just like rode away, and then I was just like, freedom, freedom. And then the wolves were like chasing me in the water. I was like, damn it.
So that's definitely the quirk I love. The quirk that I love him in spite of.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
So
here it comes.
So he has this undying need to apologize for everything, even if it has nothing to do with him. Like he'll
Okay,
just like,
Brinton, I feel your pain. I have to do it.
he'll
too.
just like casually brush against me or like bump into me. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I'm like, "Brinton, why are you apologizing?" So I give
because
him
I feel bad.
I give him a hard time about it.
I feel bad.
Yeah, I do that to you too, hon.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm sorry, I was 1 minute late. It's okay. And then eventually, I think at one point you're just like, why are you apologizing for that? I don't know. I'm sorry. That was literally
Yeah.
my answer to you.
Why are you apologizing? I'm sorry for apologizing. No, stop it, Brinton.
Exactly. So, if anything, I feel for Brinton, but no, it's an endearing trait. So I actually feel like I walked away scot-free because I honestly thought the quirk that you were going to bring up that annoyed you was she hates it when I get good news, when I get good announcements in the house. So like when E3 rolls around and I get something that I want, because you will either get the most barbarian yes kind of reaction, or, and this, I know this annoys Romney and Aldo to no end when it actually happens, you get the squee.
Mm.
And I know, like, there was one point I squeed so hard you actually did cover your ears. I can't even remember what it was for.
I don't know.
Oh, you know what? It was Monkey Island. I found out about Tales at Monkey Island, and I knew that I was going to get another Monkey Island game, and I went, and eventually I got so high, she's like, ah.
Oh, I thought you were just like wanting to brag because you got the headless horseman mount before I did.
Yes, I did. And I'm not even the mount collector. I only do it because YouTube makes me. I've said that before, guys. Don't send me things in the comments. I've said that before. I don't want to go mount hunting. You guys make me go mount hunting because you want to see new mounts. So, well, I think that, now that everybody's gotten an open book into our lives, I think this is a perfect time to end the podcast.
A more open book into my life, at least. I was expecting like stranger questions, because nothing against you all who are listening to this, but sometimes you ask me some pretty strange shit, and I'm just like, why? Why is this information you need to know?
Yeah, because we've gotten that stuff in like Devil May Cry. I mean, Aldo got some in Resident Evil. I'm trying to think. See, the funniest thing is Alex and Romney walked away scot-free because 80% of their stuff was professional. Like, people wanted to know, like, what particular mic do you use? When you analyze a movie, what is the first thing that comes to mind that tells you it's a good movie? Kind of thing. And for you, it was like, what? I can't even remember questions off the top of my head.
A lot of it is like my opinions. Like, a lot of people like to hear my opinions because I am very strongly opinionated, and I'm just like, this is how it is. Deal with it. I mean, I've been straying away from that a lot more thanks to Nathan, but very, very much before, I was very much a person who was, this is how it is. Deal with it. If you don't like it, you don't have to be by me. Too bad.
So basically, you were Cartman in that one South Park episode. Whatever, I do what I want.
Yes, exactly.
So,
but a lot more black women.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, that's what Cartman's trying to do, but no, it's not working. Yeah, we get the weird questions, but then Alex and Romney lucked out. They got nothing but professional stuff. Like, when you analyze an anime, what character tropes are you specifically looking for? Kind of thing. So, yeah, well, I mean, there were questions that had to be filtered out, but thankfully, I'm gonna give the props to the community here. I didn't have to filter too many, and a lot of them were just simply like, what are you guys' opinions on Trump? Or what was the other one that was inappropriate? It was about PewDiePie. How do you guys feel about PewDiePie and the fact that he should really be executed off of YouTube? And at that point I said, I'm gonna cross that one off because we don't need to cover that one. So yeah, we to answer your question, Brinton, we do get those questions.
Yes, we do.
We filter them out pretty well.
Yes, we do.
So, or even better, the other one that just recently came in was, what is your opinion on swastikas? Not a fan. Just gotta say. So, let's go. Before I make things even worse, because already we're gonna have the comment thread for that particular thing to happen. Let's go ahead and wrap things up. First of all, thank you guys so much for watching this particular episode of Why We Geek. And for those who are brand spanking new to the channel as well as to the podcast, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping in. Hopefully we've been geeky enough for you to be able to check out some of the other content on the channel. Check out the podcast that both me and Brinton do, Geek News, Reviews, and Opinions, which is my podcast, but occasionally Brinton actually can show up and guest host. And we have some fun with that, especially with the memes that eventually come out of those episodes. And they are memes, Brinton. I will have t-shirts made.
Oh no, did Bat Boner become a thing? Did that become a meme?
Yes.
Oh, damn it.
And Patriotic Boner.
Damn it.
And Sassy Senorita.
Well, I'm okay with that one.
Yeah. I figured you would be at least okay with that one. But yeah, here's the funniest part is, like, Aldo used to be the meme guy. Now Brinton's kind of become the meme guy on there. Since Aldo can't be there all the time. I'm waiting for the time when we find out that the raccoons have patriotic boners. Because that's going to happen at some point. It's going to be a clever merger. So yeah, thanks again so much for watching. Please stay tuned in for next month, where you guys get the sneak peek of what we're going to be doing, and it is going to be anime. We're going to be talking about anime in general, and I have a all anime reviewer panel lined up, so you guys can love and appreciate that when it comes out in June. But to wrap things up, if people want to get a hold of you, Brinton, how do they do so? Because your content is awesome and everybody needs to see it.
So my YouTube channel, I actually did change it to Brinton Valli Gaming.
I saw that. Yes, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. So my name is spelled Brinton. Last name is Valli, and then gaming. You can also follow me on Twitter at bvalli01. I always have updates when new videos come out, and I generally go to Twitter for video updates such as, oh, I'm sick, nothing new this week, or oh, look out for a new video today at this time, blah blah blah. So you can get all the news on my Twitter feed.
All right. Nathan, is there anything in particular you want to pimp, or are you fine just people can say hey to you whenever?
Yeah, people can say hey to me whenever. I don't really follow Twitter. I kind of suck at it. But I guess if you really want to see my videos or whatever, you could follow my Twitch channel. I don't broadcast that often, but it's just twitch.tv/Serick, and that's SCERICK.
All right. And actually, I'm going to pimp something really quick in case people want to see something where Brinton and Nathan have done something together. Because I believe you guys did Batman together, didn't you?
Yes.
That was an adventure.
Yeah, so if you want to see a Let's Play with both Brinton and Nathan, they did the Batman Telltale series together. And it's complete, so you guys can check that out. I'm not sure, is he part of Mario Galaxy 2 as well?
He is not, but he did have a lot of input on how the series is edited. So a lot of what you see is thanks to Nathan.
All right. And if people want to see Andrea, did you want to pimp anything, or do you want to keep quiet on that?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so if people want to see Andrea, here's the deal. Her and me do Let's Plays of modern games every Tuesday. Currently, we're working on Kingdom Hearts, because eventually we're going to make our way to Kingdom Hearts 3. And it looks like Square Enix has been nice to us because we might have the 3 years to do it. But we've also done numerous other Let's Plays. We did The Last of Us together. We've also done the original Tomb Raider. Or not the original, not Big Boob Laura. We did the reboot.
2013 Laura.
2013 Laura. And, what was the one we just barely did? We just barely did the original God of War. And we're currently working on the King's Quest episodic series. So you guys can check that out. It's up to episode 3 that we've completed. And then also she joins us on Draken Shadow, where me and Alex, the Shadow Blazer, who's gotten brought up a lot today, do Let's Plays together. And she's actually been on a good portion of them recently. So you've been there for the Zelda games. You're actually there for a Let's Play that's going to debut literally this weekend, which is Resident Evil. All because you got so interested in Resident Evil 7.
I couldn't help it.
Yeah, I'll bet that's one of those ones that got a very genuine reaction out of Brinton, was Resident Evil 7. Had to have happened.
Oh yeah, if Nathan loves my reaction, like my over animated reactions to video games, he definitely got it in Resident Evil 7.
Yep. And then also, if you guys want to check me out, obviously you're on my channel, so you guys can check out all of the awesome content that I provide on my own. I do Let's Play content of World of Warcraft. So I've got an actual Let's Play. I've also got Dungeons and Dragons, where I go into dungeon content and go into the lore, which is what I love about the game oh so much. I also do my own Let's Plays of Final Fantasy games because I'm such a fan of that. I also do reviews, vlogs, all that fun stuff. There's so much to look into it that I can't even think of every stinking thing that I do, as well as the Geek News Reviews and Opinions podcast. And the other two, also Why We Geek. You can check out the other previous episodes that we just did. Our last episode was pro wrestling, and actually my co-host of the Run in the Ropes podcast joined me as we talked about WrestleMania that particular year. And there was a lot of Dusty Rhodes voice to be had, because I love doing my Dusty Rhodes. It's fun. And I think that's going to go ahead and do it for us. So thank you guys so much for watching, for listening, for continuing to contribute to this podcast and the others. And of course, we will all see you guys next time for whatever particular thing we're doing at that moment.